All you gotta do is read a book, open up the cover and take a look.
Hello, Monrovia scholars. My name is Katherine Thorossian. I am so excited to be here to read to you today. I've selected a story from my childhood, and when I originally read it, it was in Armenian. This is translated. Don't worry, I won't be reading to you in Armenian, but maybe some of you grew up speaking a different language at home and learned English at school. That was my situation, and I love to read today. So today's story is called The Master and the Laborer, and it's by an Armenian author named Hovannes Toumanian, who spoke and wrote about some of the fables and old Armenian stories. So let's get started, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived two brothers who were very poor. They decided that the older of the two should find work as a laborer for some rich landowner and send his earnings home. The younger brother stayed at home, and the elder went and hired himself to a rich master. The agreement was that he should work until spring, until the first cuckoo called. But the master added a clause. If either of us gets angry with the other before then, he will pay a fine. If you get angry with me, you will pay a fine of 1,000 rubles. If I get angry with you, I shall pay you 1,000 rubles. But I have not the money, explained the laborer. That doesn't matter. If you lose, you'll stay on and work for me for 10 years without pay. At first the laborer thought and wanted to refuse. But then he thought, after all, I can control myself and never get angry. If the master loses his temper, he'll have to pay me 1,000 rubles. What can I lose? He accepted. Early the next morning, the master sent him to work in the fields. Take a scythe and mow as long as there is light, he said. The laborer toiled in the fields all day and returned home in the evening completely worn out. The master said to him, "Why have you come home so early?" "What do you mean? The sun has just set." "Well, and what of it? Didn't I tell you to work as long as there's light? The sun has gone down, but the moon is up, and there's quite enough light to work by." "Do you mean I can never rest?" cried the laborer. "Ah, are you getting angry?" No, not at all. Only I'm very tired. I'll just rest a bit and then go out to the field again. He worked all night till the moon went down, but then the sun came up again. The poor man sank down, exhausted. He began to curse his master. "Curse your field and your bread and your money," he cried. At that moment, the master came up to him and said, "So you are angry? Don't forget our agreement. Now you either pay me 1,000 rubles or you work for me without pay for 10 years. The laborer didn't know what to do. He had no money, but he couldn't go on working for such a harsh master. Finally, he signed a paper stating that he owed the master 1,000 rubles and went home empty-handed. His younger brother asked him what had happened, and he told the whole story. "That's nothing. Don't worry," said the younger brother. "Now you stay home, and I'll go find work." He went to the same master his brother had worked for. The master offered him the same conditions. If the laborer got angry, he was to pay the master 1,000 rubles or work 10 years without pay. If the master got angry, he was to pay the laborer 1,000 rubles and let him go free. "Now that's not enough," said the younger brother. "Let's make it 2,000 rubles, and you pay me if you get angry, and 2,000 rubles I pay you if I get angry. Or work 20 years for you without pay." "Agreed," cried the master eagerly, and took the man into his service. The next morning the sun was already high, but the master found the laborer still fast asleep. "Get up this minute, it's nearly noon, and you're not at work." "Are you angry?" asked the laborer, suddenly opening his eyes. "Are you angry?" No, not by any means," answered the master hastily. "I was merely suggesting it was time for you to get up and to start mowing that field." "Oh, there's enough time for that," replied the laborer lazily. Finally, he got up from bed and began leisurely pulling on his boots. "Can you hurry up a bit?" "Why, are you getting angry?" No, I merely wanted to say that you'd be late for work." "Oh, well, that's different. But remember our agreement. You must carry it out, you know." By the time the laborer was ready and reached the field, it was nearly noon. What's the use of working now? It's too late." "Look, everybody's having their lunch. Let us eat too," said the laborer. They sat down and ate. After they had finished, the laborer said, "I'm a working man. I need to have a short nap to keep up my strength." With that, he went to sleep and slept until evening. Here, wake up! Have you no shame?" cried the master, shaking him. "All the neighbors have finished mowing their fields while ours stands there untouched. What a fine worker you are!" "Seems to me you're really angry this time," said the laborer, raising his head. No, not at all. I was merely telling you it was time to go home now." "Well, that's different. Let's go home then." When they reached the house, the master found a guest waiting for him. He sent the laborer to kill a sheep so they could prepare a meal for the guest. "Which sheep shall I kill?" asked the laborer. "Any you can catch," said the master. Off the laborer went. Soon afterwards, the neighbors came running to the master and said, "Your worker must have gone mad. He's killing all your sheep." The master ran out of the house, saw the entire flock lying there slaughtered. "What have you done? Curse you!" he yelled. "You've ruined me. May the Lord punish you." "But you told me yourself to kill any I could catch." "I caught them all," answered the laborer blandly. "Could it be that you are angry?" No, not at all. I am merely sorry that you killed all my sheep." "All right then, if you are not angry with me, I can go on working for you," said the laborer. He continued to work for a few months, nearly driving his master mad with his tricks. Finally, the master decided to get rid of him. According to the terms of the agreement, the worker was to stay until the first cuckoo called in the forest. The master decided he would make use of this clause. However, winter was only beginning, and it was a long time until that cuckoo would be heard. So he took his wife with him to the woods. He helped her climb a tree and told her to sit there and call out as a cuckoo would. Then he went home and told the laborer they would go hunting together in the forest. As soon as they entered the woods, the master's wife began to call out, "Cuckoo! Cuckoo!" The master turned to the laborer and said, "Congratulations! There's the first cuckoo, and now you are free again." The laborer saw through the trick. "No," he said, "how can a cuckoo make itself heard in the beginning of winter? It must be a very strange sort of cuckoo. Indeed, I'm going to shoot it and take a good look at it." With that, he raised his gun and aimed it at the tree in which the master's wife was perched. The master threw himself on the laborer and tried to wrest the gun from him. "Curse you, you bandit! I can't stand your tricks any longer." "Ah, now you'll admit that you really are angry at last?" cried the laborer eagerly. Yes, I'm angry. I admit it," said the master. "Come along, I'll give you your 2,000 rubles. Only go away and leave me in peace." Now I understand the old proverb that says, "Never dig pitfalls for others. You might fall into them yourself." And the younger brother went home with 1,000 rubles in his pocket. I hope you enjoyed the story and understood why he went home with only 1,000. Those two brothers stuck together. If you'd like to hear more stories, there are others, including Nazar the Brave or Nazar, about a very foolish man. This story was more about brothers sticking together and using their intellect in order to treat people the way they should be treated and how they were treated. Hopefully, the next time they work for somebody who is fair and will treat that person fairly as well. Enjoy reading, Monrovia scholars and readers, and have a great rest of the year. Thank you to Monrovia Reads for making this opportunity possible.
All you gotta do